Hello everyone and welcome back to this new video in which I will finally talk about how to use tarot cards in your journal practice. I'm pretty excited to talk about all this because I'm a big fan of tarot cards, I'm a big fan of journaling, so this is really my cup of tea and I think we just need to hop into this video. Before I give you ideas or examples of how to use them in your journal spreads, I first want to talk about what they actually are, those tarot cards. And not only the tarot cards, but also the oracle cards, because those things are two different things. But first of all, tarot. I think a lot of people are with tarot. They do not believe in it. They do not believe that tarot gives you a perspective on the future, and I can completely understand that if people think that. I also was one of those people until I took a deep dive into what it really was and what it meant for me. For me, it started with watching pick a card videos, and those were pretty right on the money, you know. And then I was like, okay, so this is pretty interesting. And then I bought my own deck, and now I have many decks. I think I have around 5 tarot decks and around 8, maybe 9 or 10 oracle decks. And it's so much fun. I think tarot holds such great power because it's a very reflective tool. I think a lot of people are like, yes, but how does it know what I need or where I want to go or what my future will look like? And I think a tarot card does not necessarily know that. Personally, I do believe in a greater power that keeps an eye out for us. But if that's not the case for you, I still think it holds great power because I think the power is all within the person that reads the cards. So for example, if I lay down a tarot spread, I will start actually talking with my subconscious mind, because all the messages that I read, that I pick out of the cards, are something that is stored within my subconscious mind, because otherwise I would never think of it. Otherwise, that's not a lesson that I would pick up. It's something that I already know, but that's maybe buried deep down in your mind. And I think tarot cards are a great tool to unlock this and reflect upon this. It's the same thing for if you are going to a reader, and I believe that most of these psyches to have a greater power with them to really know what the cards say. But in the end, it's still how you pick up these messages. You will make a selection and what you think is most important from this reading. You will choose what you will do with the message. So in the end, it's all you reflecting upon these cards and your truth and your point of view that makes this reading real or not, if you don't believe it. So I think it's a great tool for reflection, and that makes it a great tool for journaling, because journaling is all about reflection and learning about yourself. I think tarot cards are great replacements for journal prompts. So that being said, what is the difference between a tarot deck and an oracle deck? So a tarot deck exists out of the minor arcana and the major arcana. Major arcana is based on archetypes starting with the Fool and ending with the World. Then the minor arcana exists out of 4 suits. We have the Cups, the Swords, the Wands and the Pentacles. And all those suits exist out of the 1 to 10. And then we have the Page, the King, the Queen. Do I forget one? No, that's the tarot deck. The tarot deck goes way back. The earliest deck that we found is the Rider's Way deck. That's actually this deck. And that was found in, I believe, the 14th century. So it goes way back. But we are not sure if it always was used as a divination tool or if it was used as a game to play. And then on the other hand, we have oracle cards. And oracle cards are in many forms. There are many different decks. They can vary from every different deck. There's not a minor arcana or a major arcana. For example, this one is 48 cards about all the different moon phases in all the different zodiac signs, or this is one that just gives like affirmations about loving yourself. So now that you know about tarot cards, oracle cards, we can dive into the video, because now the fun part will start. So, like I said, those cards are a great replacement for prompts. So I have like 2 exercises, ways you can incorporate those cards into your journal practice. And the first of them is with 1 card. So in this scenario, you would like shuffle the deck or just spread them out and pull 1 card. There are many different ways you can pick a card. I would go like on the internet to see what suits you the best, but for me it's just shuffling and waiting until 1 falls out. But I know that there is also a way of shuffling and seeing which cards like stick out, so they are not actually falling out, or just spreading them out and picking one out of like all the cards based on your intuition. There are many ways you can pick a card. Once you have this card, you can read in the booklet, because all of those decks come with a booklet. And if not, for tarot cards, I would recommend Bitty Tarot. Also, if you do have a booklet, but it's like very basic or very small, just short messages, and you really want to go in depth, I would recommend Bitty Tarot and just typing in which card you have, and they will give you like, or the shadow side, which is the upside down card, or the upright card description, and you can read what the card is about. And for oracle cards, they always come with a booklet because they are so specific. And once you have this card, you can either write down the whole message. I most of the time do not do this because that's a lot of writing work. I most of the time write down the messages from the card in alignment with my life, or like standing out to me or interesting for me, give me new insights, and I write them down. After that, I make sure that I do read everything. I will start reflecting up on this card, like what are the messages that I read and what do they mean? How do they reflect upon my life? Is there some sort of lesson I can take out of this? And how can I incorporate this lesson into my life? And I think that's the power of tarot cards. I know that there are a lot of people that also have like their tarot journal and do this all in one journal. You can do that too, but I think if you're a beginner with tarot cards, just in your normal journal, it's also what I do, is great. So that's for with 1 card. We also have spreads, because a lot of time tarot cards are read within spreads, and the reason for this is that it gives you new messages. For example, if you see a person running, and you don't know why they are running. Maybe they are running because they see one of their friends that's in like at the back of the street and they want to hug them. Or maybe they are running because a dog is chasing them. You don't know why they are running. You get another picture and you see a mailbox. And you know, oh, they are running to get to the mailbox because they got some exciting news. But you don't know what exciting news. And then you see like a picture of like a college acceptance letter, and then you know like the whole story. They are running because they know whether or not they got accepted into college. And I think that's the power of a spread, because 1 card is only like 1 part of the story, but if you get 3 cards, you have like a whole story, a whole 3-act story. So if you want to make it more complicated, like you can pick out a spread, and I would recommend, especially if you start a 3-card spread, maybe a 2-card spread. If 3 cards sounds like too overwhelming, just go on Pinterest. There are a lot of spreads to find there. Lay out the cards, read the messages for every card, write down what like the prompt was, because most of the time if you have a spread, it's like past, present, future, or me, you, us. You know, just write down wherefore the messages was, write down again the lines, the messages, the lessons in the description, in like the meaning that speak to you. And then if you start reflecting, there's like 1 more thing that you can do. You can also now start to link those cards with each other. Like, why do I have this card and why do I have this card? what is their connection and how does it reflect upon my life. Yeah, I think that's so much fun to really do a deep dive into what it is that you're feeling and really unlock what's hiding inside your brain that you didn't know of, that was like locked up there somewhere. The next thing, if this all sounds a bit overwhelming, or you are like, I don't have a tarot deck, in case you don't have a tarot deck, this is a great idea, by the way, but also I want to recommend the app Sanctuary, because they have like a built-in pick a card thing and you can pick one card for each day, or they will actually pick one card for each day. So that's also some way you can like do the first thing I told you, like reflecting upon one card. Something else you can do is watching pick a card videos, and there are many YouTubers, many creators that post these on YouTube. I'm a big fan of the Gem Goddess, but there are many, many more pick a card readers. They ask you to pick one of the piles they lay out for you, and then they start their reading. And it's like a general reading, so not everything will speak to you probably, but they will explain this to you. And then you can, or what I most of the time do, is just watching this video, and every time there's something that speaks to me that I'm like, yes, that's so accurate, I will write it down. And sometimes I have like these downloads, I would say, like my mind is like, oh my god, yes, that's the message, that's like really speaking to you now, that's like what I am getting out of this, what this means for me. I write it down and highlight it so that I know what lesson I'm learning from this. After that, you have probably, for me most of the time, like 5 pages of just deep reflection and deep diving into your brain, taking out all those hidden messages, all those hidden lessons stored somewhere there. Pick a card video is most of the time tarot and oracle cards. And now I have something that's purely oracle cards, which is to a new moon, a new year, a new zodiac sign, a new month spread. I personally do always something called the new moon spread, and I do this with my Moonology oracle deck because that's just fitting. It's actually an idea that came like from the booklet that was put into this deck. I will give you like the example of the new moon spread, but you can do this with whatever oracle deck, whatever new ... Just as the new moon most of the time exists out of like 4 phases, just as a year exists out of 4 seasons. Most of like the cycles exist out of 4 things. That's not always, but in this case you are breaking like your period. For me it's the new moon down into periods. Like for me is it like the new moon, first quarter moon, full moon, third quarter moon, and then the cycle starts again. And I will just pick a card for every phase, and most of the time this is like lasting a week, and then I just reflect upon what will come for me in that upcoming period, and what I need to be aware of, what I need to work on. Are there like things in my life right now that I need to work on? For example, it can be like, I see this card and it's about focus. That's the message. And I know that I am gaming a lot the last few weeks and I have not really done anything about my schoolwork. Then I know that that time is for me like a period of time where I need to go back into my schoolwork, stop the gaming and really work on like my schoolwork. So in this case, I was reflecting upon what I was doing was not in alignment with this card and how I can make it in alignment with this card. And the thing with oracle cards and tarot cards is you do not have to do everything they say. You can do whatever you want. So yeah, that's like what you can do with tarot cards. But I think tarot cards with oracle cards, but a lot of time oracle cards come with like a very specific purpose, like self-care, new moon, zodiac signs. And you can find maybe a way you can read them that is like in alignment with their purpose. Just let the cards guide you in what is fun to read, what is fun for you to make a journal spread about. And then lastly, I have using the cards for shadow work. And I have linked this to like the tarot cards, but I know that there are also oracle cards that go great with shadow work. For example, I have the Season of the Witch oracle cards, and those are great for shadow work because they are on like the darker side. Tarot cards always have like a shadow side, and most of the time this is the upside down side. I won't say this is like the negative side, but this is like the side most of the time is just more challenging. I think if you read the shadow side, there are a lot of things you can reflect upon because they most of the time come with a great lesson. For example, so we have like the Radiance Wilds Tarot, one of my favorite decks, and this booklet comes very explicit with like the shadow side, but in most scenarios the meaning is just the same, but they just really call it the shadow side. So this is the book, and then we go like to one of the cards and it says shadow. So I will see if I can pick out something that is what I mean. First sentence immediately. The King of Cups implies the difficulty of balancing emotions, and I think you can find your shadow work prompt around this. It's about why is it for me difficult as a person to balance my emotions? Let's see if we can get another one. You react rather than respond to your environment. Why do you react and not respond? Where does this come from? And then it gives like some tips on how to more regulate this, so that's also nice. So that's like the shadow work side of the tarot cards. And I think it's so original, first of all, because it's not like a written prompt. In the end, it's you that's getting the prompt out of the card, and that makes it like so fitting for you as a person, because you're not getting like a prompt out of those cards that's not in alignment with you, because you would not think of it, because it's not in your area, I would say, not in your point of view, in your perspective. You would not think of it. So it's always something that can reflect upon you. If you can think of it, you have a reason to think about it, and a reason that is something you came up with. So that's like everything I had in store for you about like journaling with tarot cards, and I hope that it's like something that's interesting for you. Even if you're like new to tarot cards, I really think this is like something to spice up your journal routine with, because it's so original. I think for me personally, it gave me so many insights, and it was a great tool for my shadow work. The sun is coming through. It was so foggy this morning. Can you see it on my face? It's really getting all lit up. Okay, anyway, so if you like this, please leave a comment down below, like, subscribe. Subscribing would be cool, because I am getting very near to the 200 subscribers, and I know that's not a lot, but for me, that's like really a milestone, because I love doing this, and the idea that I already get like 200 people that just want to hear me rambling, that's great. Okay, so anyway, without anything else to say, bye.